Hey, welcome back to Unpack Radio. I'm your host, Norris Pope Johnson, and we have Dcsbaddest on her way. DMV traffic is crazy out here today. Everybody's driving like their old school grandma going 2 miles an hour. And we have one of my accountability brothers. This guy keeps me inspired. We're a member of the same fitness group where we follow one of the best guys out there, Mr. Kevin. Shout out to him, and shout out to everybody on Pure Bullfit. I got my brother, Steve. Bring him on up.
What's going on, Norris?
Mic test. Can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. First and foremost, welcome to the show. Thank you first and foremost, man, because you guys deeply keep me inspired for greatness.
Yeah, man, it's an honor to be here. Thank you for the invite. And I get a lot out of that group, too. Just the consistent posting from other men to keep moving forward and keep doing our best. It's irreplaceable.
Facts. Now, let's get into a little bit of your background. How did you find your journey to fitness?
So I was always a bigger kid growing up. I remember being almost 6 foot in the 7th grade, and I was over 200 pounds at that point. And I was always pretty husky, pretty fluffy, but with that came a good bit of size. And we played sports growing up, but like a lot of boys do, around 8th or 9th grade, I got involved with the weight room with the football team and did that for a couple of years through high school wrestling and kind of made my way through schooling. And that was a good time. And I got a lot out of lifting at that point too. But I went through some injuries and went through some struggles with my life and refound lifting about 2 years ago. I was almost 300 pounds and I got into powerlifting as a way to help me lose weight and stay accountable, and managed to lose that 80 pounds. And then I joined that group.
Wait a minute. You got up to 300 pounds?
Yeah, it was about 290.
You being 300 some pounds.
It's big.
What happened?
Well, so at that point, so some of those struggles I was talking about in my life where I fell out of fitness is I ended up kind of getting into some substance abuse issues and some legal problems. And that went on for almost 10 years, the better part of a decade, struggling with that kind of thing and everything that goes with that. And I was actually sent to prison. I was sentenced to 3.5 years in prison and got clean. And in that time, I refound fitness. Got out and gained a bunch of weight when I first got out because, we were celebrating. We were so happy. Everything was good with me and the lady. And before I knew it, I was almost 300 pounds.
Wow. Now, Brother Steve, I don't like to get in people's personal business, but this is Unpack Radio, and you never know when your story may help someone else. Do you want to go into more details of what substances you were using and how did it lead you to prison? I
would love that. So, some people may be familiar with it. Some people may not. But around the 2005 to 2010 era, the area I'm at in Florida, we went through a big pill epidemic where people were coming from out of the country, out of the state. And people were coming to my specific county in Florida to get these prescriptions for oxycodone. And the proliferation in my area, it was in my local high school. These pain pills were just everywhere, just unbelievably common. And I started out pretty innocently. It started out like most things do. It was fun. It was recreational. Did it with my friends. And then in hindsight, it's a straightforward, predictable line where I progressed from pills to then I was shooting up pills with a needle. Then I moved on to heroin. Then I was mixing heroin and cocaine together, overdosed multiple times. I was resuscitated multiple times. All the way until I was pulled out of the bathroom unconscious, resuscitated. I woke up handcuffed to a gurney in a hospital. That day I was taken to jail. From there I went to prison, and that was the last day I ever used.
Wow. Now, what did they sentence you for?
So they call it crimes related to addiction. So it wasn't sales or possession. It was defrauding a business, false verifications of documentation to businesses, things of that nature. It wasn't possession or sales, but it was the things that were related to them.
Wow. Now, what were your thoughts the day you were sentenced to 3 years?
Well, so initially when I was arrested that day, I was resuscitated and then I went to jail that night. And I remember thinking, oh, I'll be out soon and I'll be able to be using again in no time. You know, I mean, nothing had changed that day. And in fact, things didn't change for a while. I stayed in that jail for almost 8 months with this like thought that I was going to get out soon. And the day that I went before the judge, they said, hey, that old offer that we were going to give you, that sweet little 6-month deal, that's off the table. So now we're going to give you 3 years, 3.5 years. And I remember going back to the jail, back to my cell, laying in that specific bunk and thinking, man, what am I going to do? And, you know, there was that voice that said, you know, there's nothing to it but to do it. You know, you got to keep moving forward. You got to get through it and come out the other side. So even at that point, when I had received the 3.5 years, I knew that once I got to the other side, I could manufacture a life that was greater than anything I had imagined.
Now, what keeps you away from your addiction? Because I know that's a daily struggle.
Yeah. Well, at this point, it's been over 5 years. So it's a ways back. And so I don't have any of those physical cravings anymore. You know, I don't get dope sick or anything, for example. And what keeps me moving forward is the life that I've built. You know, me and my girlfriend, you know, we plan on getting married shortly. My first child should be here in like 7 weeks, man. I'm buying all this gym equipment. I'm looking at, you know, starting my own fitness thing, my own training thing. And the life I have now is so great that just the thought of ever risking it or ever throwing it away is just, it's abhorrent to me, because I know that the day that I go back, even once, even just trying it out, testing the waters, it's RIP, it's over. Like, throw it all away, because I'm the type of dude, I spent over 10 years. So I know what happens.
Now, what would you have to say to a person who may be thinking about getting off of drugs or struggling with drugs? What do you have to say to them?
I mean, it's the greatest thing you'll ever do. I mean, it's because drugs, and it doesn't matter what the substance is. It could be crack cocaine. It could be methamphetamines. It could be anything. The trade-off is, once that path is started, it takes everything. You know, you're going to lose your kids. You're going to lose your house. You're going to lose your career. If you're like me, you're going to overdose. You're going to wake up in strange hospitals. You know, you're going to literally be playing with your life. You're going to risk death. And so those consequences weren't enough at the time to get me to stop. And even then, I felt this sense of hopelessness, knowing that I could never achieve anything until I got off it. So even when I was using, I knew there had to be an end, because this was not sustainable. This wasn't it.
Wow. Now, I always notice in all your pictures, you have a big old American flag in the background. What's going on with that?
So I was born and raised here in the South. I'm in Florida right now. And so my mother and my father were both military veterans, both my grandparents, one of my grandmothers. My father, he was a war veteran, served in the first Gulf War. So I was always raised with that. I was always raised real patriotic, raised to believe that this country is something special, and it may not be the best. And that's not to say that there aren't things we can't improve. It's not to say things that we can't do better. But for right now, you know, I love this country, and I like to represent that in my videos, because I interact with lifters all across the world. You know, powerlifting is an international sport. So in some of my other, you know, some of my friends' videos, I might see the New Zealand flag. I might see the French flag. And so that's kind of a cool thing that we can kind of, you know, rep our colors.
Hey, Dcsbaddest, your cute self. You got the blonde going, the shiny boots. I'm not trying to be rude. Dcsbaddest is just now into the building. We got brother Steve, one of my accountability brothers, and she's about to slide on in with her nice little outfit on. I don't know what she's going after the show, but she is smoking right now.
Thank you so much.
Say it's Friday night.
It is Friday night, right?
Hey. Now, brother Steve, how did you run across Kevin? Because I know how I ran across him. To be honest, I ran across Kevin because I follow Remington James, who definitely has some issues in the fitness community. But at the time, I was following him, watching his videos, and then a suggestion came up, and it was telling me everything that Remington James was doing wrong, and it was Mr. Kevin. So I decided to follow this guy along his journey, and I reached out to him on social media, and I just fell in love with him because he's such a nice person. But how did you find Kevin?
In a real similar way. So I had started maybe 2.5 years ago on this weight loss journey. Remember, I was 295 pounds and I needed to lose literally about 100 pounds.
Oh.
And there was so much misinformation, like so much conflicting nonsense. Like you might see certain YouTube channels say something that another YouTuber is just going to say is an outright falsehood. And it's just all back and forth drama and reaction videos. And I remember coming across Kevin, and Kevin would respond to some of the other content creators who I was following. So in a similar way, there was a man named Brad. Was his name Brad DeLauer? I don't remember. He was a big fasting guy. And Kevin made a video on some of his content. And that's how I came across Kevin as well. And I really enjoyed the fact that he was willing to put the science and the evidence to some of the claims these other YouTubers were making for clicks, just for pure money. Because I was in it to lose weight and learn something. And it was hard because there were so many people saying things that were just, in hindsight, they were wrong.
DC, you
Wow.
have a question?
I'm flabbergasted because I just heard you say that you were up to 295 pounds.
Mhm.
Yes. So my question to you, and I'm asking you this because I just started therapy and I watched Oprah today speak on things that in her childhood triggered her to eat for the pain that she was feeling. And she did not understand totally exactly what it was, but she knew that it was something that she needed to, discover. So how did you, because it's onions, and it's layers of hurt and pain and whatever you go through when you're losing weight. So how did you recover from all of the things that you had to, go back to revisit? Or did you even have that experience?
So at the time, and I had spoken with Norris a little bit about this, I think before you had joined us, is I had gained all that weight when I had just got out of prison. And so I had gained like 70-ish pounds within 3 or 4 months. It was ridiculous. Okay. I was so happy to be out. I was relieved. I had no control. I was just having a good time. And then we started, my girlfriend and I started traveling across the country for work. We would move every 3 months, because she had a medical contract and she would contract to different hospitals. And so in that time, being removed from my family location and we were living in an Airbnb, and it was almost kind of like boot camp. It was the ability to reinvent myself and really kind of just move forward, just start a new page. So I didn't spend too much time looking back. I spent most of my time looking forward, and that's where I found a lot of the motivation.
Okay, that's excellent. So once you started to shed, tell me, how was your confidence? How was your ability to walk into a room? Did it change? Did your stretch change? Did your walk change? Did your swag change?
Yeah. Speaking to confidence and some of those things, and it was something I'd struggled with a lot in my life growing up. I'd grown up like a lot of us do. I'd grown up kind of bigger. I was raised in a Southern family, and we did a lot of fried pork chops and mashed potatoes. We lived that life, and I was speaking with Norris, I remember being over 200 pounds in the 7th grade and people thinking that was abnormal. And to me and my family, it was normal. And so when I had grown up with all those self-confidence issues, once I did start to lose the weight, and more than that, once my lift started going up, because I got into the gym and I really got into powerlifting, because I knew that as I was losing weight, it would be hard for me to gain muscle mass. It's hard to add muscle doing bodybuilding if you're in a caloric deficit, losing size, but you can get stronger. And that's what drew me to powerlifting. And that's where a ton of my confidence came from, is joining a sport, starting at ground zero and literally working my way up and joining a highly competitive team. And I'm blessed with one of the best coaches in the world. And that has been the biggest thing for my motivation, and the biggest thing for my confidence is this feeling that I set out to accomplish something, and I did, because I looked at these people and I said, man, I want to be like that.
Okay.
Now, I do have a question about powerlifting, because I'm thinking about entering the sport.
Yeah.
But, I don't do the big three. I only do one of the big three.
Mm-hmm.
And the big three is deadlift, squat, and bench press. I only do one of the big three. Mm-hmm. My specialty is, if you get me on the bench press, I will try to mentally destroy you. Now, my question is, can I get into it with only one of the big three?
Yes, for sure. And it's actually a really common thing, especially amongst some of the the more experienced lifters, it's not uncommon at all to see lifters that are 35 or over who can't barbell back squat because it takes a lot of shoulder mobility just to put it on your back. And then it's your hips and your back and your ankles. And so bench only, like you're talking about, is not uncommon at all. There's a lot of meets that are specifically only for the bench press. Now, if you don't manage to find one, that's cool because you can go to any meet in any federation and sign up for that meet and only do the bench press. And you'll compete with everybody else. It's just you won't squat. And then during the bench flight, you will bench. And then during the deadlift flight, you won't deadlift. But you will still compete in that same meet with all the other lifters. And it's not common at all. I coach an athlete right now who can't squat. He only bench presses and he only deadlifts.
Now, how much do you think I need to get to realistically to take home a trophy? Because I'm at 335, but I'm thinking I need to get up to like the 400s if I want to take something home.
335 pounds? Like you can lift 335 pounds?
Like it's butter.
Like it's butter?
Like it's butter.
Okay, but
now, if I can send it to Trump and he can add it to the end of the podcast, and that will be a sweet way to end this thing.
So is this like one of those these type of
No, we talking about overall strength. Like you got the guys that come out there and look pretty, and you got the guys that I'm going to lift up some heavy shit and this is my life because I'm a psychopath.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my question is,
speaking for
I'm speaking for the brotherhood. This is a fellow psychopath I'm talking to. The man squats like 500 some pounds. Deadlifts up 500 some pounds. This is a psychopath.
So I got a question. Okay, so when you were up to almost 300 pounds and now you're down, and I had an issue because I was 289 and a good 129 now. Yeah, I know, right? I didn't get it because I wanted it that way. I got it through medical issues, but nevertheless, I am here. However, I'm asking you this question because I don't know how you feel about your skin and how it looks underneath when you take your clothes off, or it just looks, because we can dress up anything. So how do you feel about the skin removal? Did you have to go through that process, or did you even care about it? Because some guys be like, no, I lost the weight. I ain't even tripping. But, me as a female, I want my tummy tucked. I want my back done. I want my leg, all that fat. You need to take it up off me. So how did you do? Did you go through with that process, or were you thinking about going, going to do something in that area?
Okay. And so a big consideration for that type of procedure is, and for loose skin consideration in general, is how do you store your body fat? And genetically from my mother is I stored weight in what people would say I stored weight like a female. So I carried most of my weight in my thighs, my hips, my butt, a little bit around my stomach. But I'll send Norris the picture and maybe we can include it at the end of me at my heaviest and then me when I cut down. And you'll see I don't look too terribly large. So when I lost that 90 pounds, I didn't have loose skin. I didn't experience that at all. I just shrunk. And a lot of that is the speed that you lose the weight. If you're only talking about losing 1.5 to 2 pounds a week, which is the recommended maximum, then you shouldn't run into too many of those issues. But for example, the people who start at 600 pounds and then they lose, maybe 150, 200 pounds in a year, it's a lot harder for the body to cope with that drastic dip versus someone who lost it consistently.
Okay, so what were your main meals? What was the main protein? What was the vitamin? What was the morning breakfast? What did your day look like?
So at that time, I struggled a lot with hunger cravings, and because, like I had mentioned, I had gorged myself and really bloated my way up to this gigantic weight, and so my daily calories that I was taking in, it might be 5,000-6,000 calories a day, which was just so much. So when I went to lose the weight, I struggled a lot with hunger. And so I made the decision to get on the ketogenic diet. And I got the majority of my calories at that point from carbs from protein and fat, and, almost no carbs. I would eat roughly 30 carbs a day because it's important that you get certain amounts of fiber in and that you get in certain vitamins and nutrients. Potassium's difficult on the ketogenic diet, for example. It's hard to find in foods that don't have carbs. And so I did that in conjunction with a fasting type of protocol I did that for about almost a year. And then I transitioned off of that, and I currently eat a diet that is composed of a lot of carbohydrates.
Okay.
And that's what's up.
So, I mean, that sounds excellent. But to get to that process mentally and physically, I am so frustrated. I just have to let you understand it. I'm frustrated because I have type 2 diabetes. So I have to now eat a lot more protein. And I don't know how to do that. If I'm busy all day, I gotta pack a bag of this or that. But I'll just get frustrated. I'm gonna be honest. I hope my doctor's not listening. I'll be frustrated all day and just not go. I'll drink water and juice all day until I get home to find something to eat, and then I'll cook, a meal. And that's definitely not healthy. So what do you recommend for short snacks throughout the day to help with the process?
That's a good question.
Because you are going to see some problems with that type of eating style. My father is a type 2 diabetic and has been almost my entire life. And for a while, I was doing some of his meal plans and some of his diets to help him lose some of that weight. And you're right. When you're not eating anything and you're just drinking water, for a diabetic, that causes a lot of issues with blood sugar and their energy levels. And so you're sipping that juice to kind of keep your blood sugar a little more stable. But because it's juice, it has none of the fiber in it. So the sugar and the fructose in the juice hits your bloodstream, your blood sugar spikes, you get jittery and energetic for 30 minutes, and then it goes back down. So you sip on some more juice until you get home. A better long-term strategy would be to kind of think in smaller snack type of meals that you like to eat. And I would try to get those in, especially for you, every 3 to 4 hours. I wouldn't go much past that because your pancreas has a hard time regulating insulin to regulate your blood sugar. So you want to kind of help it out by eating every 3 hours. So you avoid these major climbs and dips that you'll feel with that energy level.
So my question for you then with the short snacks. So I learned that peanuts are great, but you can't eat too many. I learned that fruit is great, but you can't have too many. They do want you to do the peanut butter because it is great with the protein, especially if you're doing like myself, not eating throughout the day. And then actually getting the actual protein, which is the steak or the tuna or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
So that's what I'm having an issue with. So thank you for that. I do appreciate that, but I definitely have to learn how to make sure that I take I have the Libre, but you just get the monitor,
right?
So you don't have to prick your fingers anymore.
Right.
I get really, really panicked when it's over 150. So my trend is between 90 and 150. So I get so panicky. Today it was 391.
Jesus.
I lost. I was like, oh my
Add
God.
a cup of orange juice or something.
Right. It cut out everything, but I wasn't doing anything at the time. So that's what I was trying to say. Sometimes you have to notice when I'm drinking.
DC, have you tried to eat like almonds and use like whey protein?
I haven't tried the whey protein. So the whey protein is the shakes, right?
Yeah, just make your own. Use water. I like the little almond.
So my question to you is: are the shakes better than food?
Well, if you make it yourself, it can help out until you can get to the food.
Oh, okay.
So you just make you like a little shake. I like to throw a little spinach in it, little strawberry, little peanut butter.
Okay. So now
throw your whey in it. Shake it up. Drink it. You're good to go.
Okay.
Have you ever tried that?
I'm getting there. I haven't, but I will. I will definitely get some.
Yeah, try that. That way, next time you get.
I am, for the first time, we'll be stepping into a gym tomorrow.
You're going to a gym tomorrow? Which gym you going to?
Planet Fitness.
Oh, okay.
Don't say nothing about it.
You're not going to a gym. You're going to Planet Fitness.
So irritated.
That's their logo. What is their logo? It's not a gym. It's Planet Fitness, but it's a good starter.
Yes.
And I'm concerned because you recently fell. So
I did. And I'm only going to do walking, and I'm going to do the weight.
Get a trainer.
Because my skin, because of the diabetes, I lost so much weight.
Get a free trainer while you're there.
Oh, I will. That's exactly what I plan to do. But that's such good information that you just gave me. I'm really excited about that now. And to know that you came from so far. So get up. Let me see what you look like. Can I see you?
Not so much where I'm at right now. We'll get those pictures in at the end, and we'll get like Norris at some of our lifts here at the end.
Brother Steve, I have a question / pat on the back for myself. Steve was having issues getting to the greatness. And I was like, have you tried to add this into your workout? It worked. So how good did it feel to finally hit the 315 club? How good did it feel?
Man, I forget how long we've really been following each other and interacting with each other online. And I remember it's funny because in this journey, I spent over a year stuck at 275. So I hit 275 pounds, not even paused, not even like a clean competition rep. I bounced it off my chest and barely got it. 1 year later, I couldn't even get it. So I had regressed after an entire year. And once I started implementing some tips from other people, and once I got some competent coaching and I got some good programming in there, you're right. I've since hit that number, and that's a huge milestone for a man. And I definitely understand what you're saying. That's a big deal. Is a lot of teenagers chase that 225, those 2 plates, but men chase those 3 plates, that 315. And that was big when I hit that. That was a good feeling.
There's no greater feeling in the world to hit 3 wheels. And shout out to the ultimate coach, our guy, Steve Shaw, who supports our channel. One of my favorite video of his and how I found out about Steve Shaw was when he had a video, "You'll never lift 315 pounds." And I was just like, I see your challenge and I'm going to raise you a few extra pounds. And I got what he was saying because my nephew's an NCAA athlete. Okay. And who edits our video, Devontae Thomas. Okay. And he also said, I've been across the world and I never seen no one lift 315 pounds.
So that's what you doing?
I do more than
Plus
that.
You said 335.
335 like it's butter, baby. Now, my question to you, how many gyms have you been to and how often do you see people lifting 3 wheels or more? And is it really impossible?
Okay, so in the past 3 years, I've held memberships because we traveled for work, remember? So I had a membership at a gym in Florida, and then one in Oregon, one in Virginia, 2 more when I got back to Florida. So 6 or 7 gyms in the past couple of years. And in some of the commercial gyms, you might wait a long time to see that. You know, it's not a lot of people. You can be naturally strong and bench 225. You know, you can do that out of the box as a big boy. But to hit 315, you got to work at it, and it takes consistent work. And so you don't see it as often. Thankfully, now I'm a member of some power gyms where there's some guys benching close to 500 pounds, like just massive guys. In a general gym sense, it's a rare thing to see.
Well, why would you want to do that? I ask everybody every day, do you want to be a man or do you want to be a god? I want to be a god. I want to be in the 400 club before I check out this earth.
Just say that. Just you scared to say it.
Oh, well, before I go and close my eyes and come out to clash in the little policy, I want to hit the 405 club. That is my last goal.
So how long do you think it's going to take for you to get there?
During the pandemic, I shut down for a minute because we couldn't go to the gym. I was at literally 275 before then. I fell all the way back down, started back at LA Fitness to 225, reached back up to 350. So it may take me, I'm at 335 clean with no issues. I'm giving myself another 5 months. Another 5, maybe a year.
So how much have you used your power, your ability to have so much discipline and control to help someone else outside of your family, you know, outside of the family, of course, but have you pushed it to different, because, you know, we have a lot of overweight children. You know, I know Michelle Obama was doing the whole healthy balance thing. So are you exceeding just the gym to make sure that, you know, other people are aware of their ability to look like you?
Okay, so at this point, I actively coach and help a number of people. I help and coach more weight loss people than I do actual power lifters. And I got a couple lifters that I've been helping out doing their thing. You know, shout out Nick. But some of the more common people I help are with weight loss issues because there's so much misinformation. People just they've been not taught about it in school. And then you get on YouTube and you're met with V-Shred and all sorts of just absolute crap, absolute nonsense. And you're inundated with it. And this dude's got 5 million followers. He must know what he's talking about. Look at those abs. Look at those abs.
Steve, let me explain to Dcsbaddest who V-Shred is. V-Shred is a gentleman. He's very popular. He has commercials on Facebook, YouTube, the world. This man is very popular. He looks like a god.
He's a marketer. Yeah.
He look like a god. He black.
No, it's white dude. He's chopped. He's chopped up. He's a handsome man. I'm secure enough with myself to say V-Shred is a handsome man. He will pull you in. And he will make it seem that you can eat pizza, donuts, cakes, cookies, and pies and look like him.
Right.
When we all know in the real fitness world, this is absolute boop. So therefore, a lot of people have spent time calling him out.
Okay.
He recently just now posted a video, and I said, "This dude got balls.
Really?
This dude got the biggest balls ever because you full of crap, but yet you still pull people in, and people still buy his programs."
Well, I think that because like
shout out to V-Shred, you the hustler of the year, bro.
My dog.
Everybody kind of want a quick fix. We want to really work long and hard because I know that I'm going to have to get my strength back. I literally fall like I have no strength, and I don't know if you know or not, but I have stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, and I have type 2 diabetes now. So it's like a combustion of medicines going together, and I am unstable, wobbly, and trying to keep it together. But I want to make sure that I'm active. Because I think the longer I lay around, because it hurts, my body hurts, chronically hurts. But if I lay around and just lay around, I'm going to be so feeble, I can't get out the bed. So that's why I want to start trying to lift something because I can see.
Yes.
I can see the results of the diabetes. So yes. So what do you suggest for women that are over 40 that want to get back in shape, not necessarily with any, ailments or with ailments, but what do you suggest they start at? What do you suggest they start? What should I start doing first? Walking.
That's a good question.
Lifting, 10 pounds, 2 pounds, 5 pounds.
So speaking to your case directly, in that some of the medications that you're likely taking, that I know you're probably taking, are going to have some of the adverse reactions, and they're going to affect some of your bone density. So it's not just that you feel weak and tired. It's likely your bones are not as strong. They're definitely not as strong as mine, but they may not be as strong as they would otherwise be without those medications.
Right.
So for you especially, I would definitely recommend some type of sensible resistance training. And my preferred modality is barbell training. So if I put you on a machine, like let's say it's a chest press machine, and I have you press, well, because the machine is holding you stationary and because it can only move in one way, you only get the effect of that specific muscle. Whereas with a barbell, you have to stabilize it. So when the bench press comes, that bar can go anywhere. And so your body has to hold it in place. And some of the connective tissues get significantly greater benefits with barbell work. If you're not open to that, if that's intimidating, your gym doesn't offer it. You said you were going to Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
Planet Fitness doesn't have any barbells. So that's fine. I would definitely recommend you do some kind of resistance training. I would start light and sensible, and I would incorporate some kind of element of overload. So week to week, I would try to do maybe more weight, maybe more reps. Maybe I do the same weight and the same reps, but I do it faster. Maybe it feels easier. These are all ways to improve week to week. And by doing that resistance training, you'll see not just an improvement in your strength and how you look, your aesthetics, but weight and resistance training increases bone density. It increases the durability of your ligaments and tendons, which are compromised because of some of the medications you're taking. Yes. I would absolutely recommend that, you walk, because walking is the most underrated form of activity we as humans have. Okay. We're bipedal and we're meant to walk everywhere we go, and we don't. We have cars, we have bicycles. And so if you can start to get your steps in, if you can start to maybe go for 3 10-minute walks, maybe you do a little bit of sensible resistance training at the gym, and you just get better week to week. You know what I'm saying? Just maybe you walk a little farther. Maybe you do a little bit more weight. It doesn't have to be complicated or hard, but I would like to see you doing something.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Thank you so much.
Now I do have a imaginary question for both of you guys.
Oh,
I've been watching a new show. I fell in love with the show. It's weird.
What is it called?
It's called Fit to Fat to Fit. The trainer himself gains 60 pounds of fat, meets up with the client, and loses the weight with the actual client. My question, if in an imaginary world, would you be dedicated enough to your journey to gain 60 pounds to train someone else and help them lose the weight? Would you do that?
Yes, I would.
Would you do that?
Type of person. I don't know if I would gain
60 pounds.
Maybe a good 20 or 15.
No, that's not gonna. No, you got to go for the effect.
Yeah, well, that's fat. 15 or 20 pounds is fat.
60 pounds is not nothing. Like 60 pounds is 60 whole pounds, and that's going to significantly affect your day-to-day life. You know, like that's not nothing. As someone who's lost 60 pounds and I lost that weight and got down to 200 pounds, and in those 2 years, I'm a competitive weightlifter, so I compete at 231 pounds. You know, sometimes 220, it depends, but I've gained weight since then.
So you are the ones that's doing the barbells and doing the lower.
Okay, so to kind of make it a little easier, you got the bodybuilders, right? You got the guys that put on the bikini, the trunks, and they do the posing, and they got the abs. Those are the aesthetic guys. Those are bodybuilders, and I definitely don't do that. Okay, so then you have the power lifters, and they do the squat, the bench, and the deadlift. And the best ones do it without supportive equipment. But back in the day, they used to do all sorts of weird stuff and wear all sorts of weird suits to make them artificially stronger. But now we compete in the squat, bench, and deadlift with minimal supportive equipment. Then you have the guys you see in the Olympics, and they're the ones that go over their head. So they'll take the bar off the ground and then catch it over their head and stand up with it. Okay. So those guys, that's a whole nother sport. We don't do that. Those guys are weird. Oh. That's scary stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, I do have a question for you. I asked all of the weight, our fitness gurus who come in, what is your remedy for me dealing with the Charlie horses that I receive in the middle of the night when, like yesterday, now I fell. I took a bad fall about a week and a half ago. And I'm not lying to you. I have not put on heels. Yesterday was the first time I wore heels, and I should not have worn them because last night I was almost.
Yeah. The bottoms of your feet were cramping?
It wasn't my feet. It's my calves. It's my calf muscles. As soon as I would turn my leg a certain way, oh my God, you talk about pain. So I had to stand up on it, and I started doing the little tiptoe things. I was like,
right.
It's hurting. So what is your recommendation for anybody who's going through that type of problems after they have the workout?
Okay. So there's like some different mechanisms that you might experience in that time. And so the Charlie horse you're talking about, to be clear, you're talking about when you're just asleep, not doing anything, and then your muscle just flexes and it's just pain. Okay. All right. And so that's different than like the type of soreness that you might see in your muscle after a workout. So that cramping, that seizing you're feeling, unfortunately is thought to be a mechanism of overuse. So it makes sense that you were wearing heels, your legs were going through it, looking fabulous, putting in the work, and then that night they were tired and letting you know about it.
Yes.
And so something that you might be able to do for that is drink a little bit more water before bed. That is shown to help. And then some electrolytes, and your main electrolytes being salt and potassium. And that can help with some of your cramping issues too.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I just now found? And it's going to sound crazy, but I recently started drinking it myself. Pedialyte. Me too. And the reason I started drinking that is because one day I came in here, I did 12 sets of 225. That's 144 reps of 225.
That's a lot.
That night I got home after the show. I had the chest cramp. Kim thought I was dying. I thought I was having a heart attack. I swear to God,
wow.
I don't go to hospitals unless it's an emergency.
There you go.
She had to pretty much after I seen her panic, I was like, I'll go. By the time I get there, I'm good. They do the heart stuff. They do all this other stuff. I'm good with the heart. So I was just like, I did too much, and I had to figure out a hack.
Right.
Because I was like, you don't want to go that if that's what you feel like.
Yeah.
Now I know that is nothing to play. Literally, I felt it from here to over here to my body went, fuck you, I'm shutting down. My body went.
No, it's that bad. Like I was in tears. Like I'm telling you, it hurts. I definitely understand. I never had it in my chest, but my legs, man, oh man.
Yeah, if that's what you feel like, then I totally understand.
It's
and
not nothing to play
the
with.
cheat code is Pedialyte for all those out there.
I got a question.
Get the cheat code.
In reference to supplements, like dietary supplements, so do you suggest the like the B12 and the organic like organic pills? Do you suggest anything that will help along with the process of losing weight or keeping you active, keeping you up, keeping you?
Okay. So, of course, I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not a doctor and I'm not your doctor. And that supplementation is going to be case by case because ideally you're supplementing for something that you're not getting in your diet or in your other, through other means. And some good general recommendations that you see for general population. It's generally held that a multivitamin can be beneficial. No harm in taking it. It's not going to hurt you. So a good multivitamin, more notably, especially in some of the aging population and some of those people 30, 40 and up, a good B12, a good D3, and a good calcium supplement are they're regularly recommended because especially vitamin D3, which we're now understanding is more of a hormone than a vitamin. A lot of the older population becomes deficient in it because their body lacks the ability to either make use of it or to kind of make use of it while it's around type deal. So in an older population, you see a higher need for calcium, D3, B12, some of those types of vitamins. So it's all going to be dependent on who you are, your age, your fitness level, and your diet.
Exactly. Okay, thank you.
And especially for our community, we definitely need to take D3.
Yes.
Because we lack in it.
Yes.
So definitely for our community. Now, Brother Steve, my final question, because we got to wrap this up in a few minutes. We have enough minutes to ask this. What is your final goal for your powerlifting journey? Where do you want to see yourself? Because you got the 500-some pound deadlift, you got the squat, you're building up the bench press. So what is your final goal?
In terms of actual like concrete achievement, in terms of what I want people to be able to look back on Google and see, I would like to deadlift 700 pounds, closing in on 600 now. I'd like to squat 600 pounds, and I'm at about 500 now. And I would like to bench press 450-ish. And I recently hit 360, and there's been some good progress since then. So hopefully, knock on wood, be trying to bench 400 sometime in 2021. But more of an overarching answer to that is I would like to be able to help people, not necessarily just get stronger through barbell powerlifting, but enjoy a higher quality of life with more quality longevity. I would like to see people 40, 50 years old, still active, still in the gym, still increasing bone density and muscle mass through resistance exercise, and still doing the things that they need to do to remain active. Because as the research and literature continues to develop on aging and anti-aging, we're finding that the easiest way to stop the negative impacts of aging is to not stop moving. So once you take some of those senior citizens and some of those older general population clients, and they stop walking and they stop playing with their kids and they stop going grocery shopping, and that sedentary lifestyle is the death of fitness. And that's kind of my big thing is I want to be able to lift and enjoy a quality of life through barbell lifting and through powerlifting well beyond the years where I'm competitive, if that makes sense. So as a competitive lifter, I have goals, but then I have goals in terms of my health and my lifetime happiness. I would like to raise my son to one day enjoy lifting, if that's his thing. And if it's not, then it's not, no sweat. But I would like to be in the game, so to speak, for a long time to come. And I think that's one of my biggest goals, is just to be in the community, be helping people, even if it's just on Facebook groups. That's how Norris and I met. Was we were on a Facebook group, a public group, spreading some help with new lifters. And that's how we first connected. And I would like to keep that moving forward in the future.
Yes. So tell me, Mr. Pruit, who and what, it could have just been one or the other, was your greatest inspiration for reaching your goals? What kept you pushing, when the days were long and nobody cared and nobody called to check on you and your stomach is growling and, things, life is happening to you. So what kept your inspiration, up the par? Who was your inspiration, or what was your inspiration?
That's a good question.
That's an incredible question. I spent so much of my young life growing up overweight with bad acne, and then I suffered my substance abuse issues. I was locally famous in my hometown for being a drug addict and being a general scumbag. And once I got out of prison and I started losing the weight and I started finding that happiness, the motivation came from the fact that, man, I had been a loser forever, man. I felt like a loser. I didn't like myself. I didn't respect myself. I didn't care about myself. And once I got out of prison and I was clean and clear and free, I really asked myself, what do you want for yourself? Who do you want to be? Right. And that was the motivation I found was, man, I don't want to be a loser. I don't want to be overweight and fat and bald and miserable at 40. I don't want to be another excuse. I don't want to be, my genetics, or my medical condition, or every member in my family has diabetes right now. Nobody's living past 55 in my family, but I'm going to break that and do better than that. And that was the inspiration to keep moving forward. Is when it got hard and other people would doubt me and I would doubt myself, is I would stay accountable and keep moving forward and say, not only am I going to show you and show the world, I'm going to show myself that I'm not a loser, and I'm not going to be a loser anymore. I'm going to be the man I want to be. And that was all the motivation I needed. Is external motivation from the outside, man, that's fleeting. Like I could watch a CT Fletcher video, is still your MF in set. And that's cool. That'll do it once or twice. That'll keep it going. But the soldiers who go in and day out and put in the work back to back, day to day, when nobody's watching, when Instagram's not watching, when nobody's giving likes and nobody sees it, when things get hard, those are the people who are dedicated. And that dedication only comes from within. There is no such thing as external dedication. There can be external motivation, but when motivation fails, dedication carries on. And that's an important thing to know.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great closing.
That was so awesome. You literally put me to tears, because that's exactly how I feel in my push and my drive of right now. So thank you so much for sharing, and your transparency. And that's the only way that we'll get the information, is if people like you just come up and just tell us just how it is. And I appreciate you for that. Thank you so very much. And I definitely, when I say definitely, I definitely will make sure that I take heed to everything that you just said tonight, because I do appreciate you. I just want you to know that you're one of my favorites. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. It was an honor to be invited. And Norris and I didn't discuss it at all. I benched, I think 350, and he hit me up and he was like, hey, you want to be on my podcast? And of course, no questions asked. For a brother as dedicated as Norris, doing the things I know Norris is doing, say less. I'm there, no questions. And it's a deep honor to be here, and I appreciate both of you so much. You're excellent interviewers, and the questions that you specifically brought when you came in were they really set it over the top, and I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, that's why we're the best team on the internet. But the turn up is coming.
It's coming.
Now, Brother Steve, in closing, I have a great quote that a 77-year-old dude told me a long time ago. He said, I'm here in the gym for my medicine, but I go to the doctor just so he can tell me I'm okay.
All right,
but this is the real medicine. That came from a dude that's 77. Yeah. Now, personally, The brotherhood of fitness is very weird. And especially because in most fitness groups that I've been in, especially as a Black guy, it's hard to meet people. For whatever reason, Black guys have it the roughest in fitness groups. Whatever reason, I mean, but when I joined Kevin Group, I truly found a home.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And you can connect with people all the way across the world.
Oh, wow.
With something as simple as physical fitness and the brotherhood of pain. Mm. And it's something like that that makes me respect this world. Okay. And it proves that if you want to come together, you can over a simple bond. And it's just like that. You can find a brother across the world that you never met just from something simple as the basic need of human connection over something we both connect with. Brother Steve, what do you have to say in closing? And please give them all your information in closing as well.
I mean, I think the final best thing I can say is do something for yourself, man. If you're not in shape, get in shape. And if you are in shape, stay in shape so you don't have to get in shape later. And enjoy this high quality of life because it's your life and you're worth it. I promise you. Put in the work. Go for the walks. Maybe clean up the diet a little bit and be there for your kids, for your family. Be there for you. Have a life that's worth living. Don't just wake up and work a job to pay bills and die miserable. Go out there and get after it, man. I'm feeling fired up after this podcast, guys. I really appreciate it.
You don't understand. I don't know if you married or not, but I would kiss your face right now.
So much.
It's so beautiful because everything that you're saying, and like I said in your transparency, is everything that I'm enduring right now, battling those hurdles and making sure I get over them because it's hard sometimes to get up out the bed. It's easy to lay there and just deal with the pain, take a pain pill and close your eyes and go to sleep. But to get up and push through the pain and make it to the, the PTA meetings and make it to the car appointments and do all of these different things in my situation, you just gave me more hope. I'm trying to tell you, we're going to see each other at the top. Definitely.
I love it. Love it.
And where are you from? Where are you right now?
I was born and raised in Central Florida, and we recently moved back here, and we're expecting our first child in 7 weeks. Me and my lovely girlfriend, Chelsea. We're very excited.
Yeah, congratulations. That's awesome. That is awesome. Do you know what you're having yet?
We're having a boy.
You're having a boy. Oh, what's better? That's what's up. Totally congratulations to you. Yeah.
All right, Steve, where can people find you if they want to connect with you online?
Really, the best place is my Instagram account. I promise you, if you DM me, I'm going to DM you back. And if you ask me for help, if I can't help you, I know somebody who can help you. And that's at Steves.lifts, STEVES, And it's my training log, and you can track my progress. If you scroll down to the bottom, I promise you there's some crazy stuff that doesn't match up with the stuff at the top. And that's what it's all about.
That's all right.
DC, where can people find you at?
Yes, you can find me, Dcsbaddest, at DcsBaddest on Instagram. Or if you want the professional government name, Alicia, ALICIACOE on Facebook. Just like that.
And you can find us both on Unpack Radio everywhere, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. We everywhere you can want to find us. And please comment because that's the only way you survive on YouTube. It's the comment and the like. So we definitely need those comments and we definitely need those likes so we can keep on surviving, and feel free to lock us in so we can build up our network so we can keep great guests like Steve coming in.
Yes, Mr. Pruit is awesome. Yeah. Pruit is stuck in my name like it's ingrained. Pruit. Pruit, just damn do it. You hear me?
In high school, they used to tell me, do it, Pruit.
Yes.
Shout out to my guy, Dirk. And shout out to the whole fitness family at Pure Bullfit. I love you guys. Thank you for always keeping me accountable. See you guys next time. We have Dr. Bishop Parham coming to us live. And we will be discussing lies of a mission. Thank you, Steve. God bless. Have a great night.
Thank you, Steve.
Salute.
God bless you and your family.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, that was so. Yeah.